Positivity Posse. It's Victor Brooks and the Victor Brooks Show. What's happening, y'all? And today, you know, we're all setting up our little Facebook shares and what have you, you know, that we can keep this positivity going down. So you see me looking over on my phone here so I can go to my page and start my, I guess you call it a share party or something like that. I'm still learning it. But we are, here we go. We are live today, and I've just started this party. And thank y'all for being here, y'all. Thank you so much. And you know, this is an incredibly spiritually connected positivity posse day, you know? And as we, you know, our whole platform is of course positivity. And I have to always reiterate that in no way through our message of positivity are we negating or disrespecting anything that's happening out here today in our world. How can you? You know, how can you forget or try to comb over the fact that we have two viruses out here, you know? We have the virus right now that we know as Corona hitting us physically, you know, kept us inside for so long, which in my opinion has a lot of positivity to it as well, to get that whole introspective thing going on, you dig? But that's the first virus in this immediate time. But then we had that other generational virus that just raised its head and will, you know, called racism. You know, so we're dealing with two viruses, y'all. But there's always a positive strain in between that we like to keep bringing through our message every single Saturday and Sunday. And during that virus of racism, through our protest of our young ones, you know, I still and will always have a support for our now generation. These young people are educating me in so many ways. These young people are allowing me to understand more of what it is that I can do. What kind of message with my generation or even older, what can we do to continue this conversation that must happen between the generations, you know? It makes me so proud. And that's my positivity, because when I see that multiculturalism of protest, you dig, even of anger, and I'm not talking about the looting side of it. Nah, that's some of the young people that needed some direction, which as we watch these feeds, they got it. Those wisdom takers of my generation or older took some of those young people aside and said, hey, y'all, that's not the way to do it. You dig? They gave that young person the feeling that, wait a minute, your gate is open. I can come and rap to you. And so it's always a positive thing, y'all. We've got to keep that gate of communication open and be willing to learn from our young people so that they can learn from us. You dig? And today is, as we know, is a very special day and episode for me because of the respect I have for this young lady who, with my heart and soul, call her my niece, which may not be by blood, but definitely by relation. And her father, Wyann Vaughn, has been a mentor in my life musically, as well as life itself, Wyann Vaughn. And of course, her mama, Wyann Vaughn, who kicked off this quarantine series with her in-depth and beautiful journey story that she gave us, you know, as one of the emotions. So as you see, it's a family affair. We're putting our money where our mouth is, so to speak. That, you know, we're all in this thing together. That's a slogan that's been thrown around in so many different things. But here at the Positivity Posse, that's our gasoline. It takes all of us, y'all. And I remember when we had Miss Wyann Vaughn here with us, with my buddy Rick Harold out of Memphis, Tennessee. And once again, you can see these episodes if you missed them here on Facebook. Of course, they're on the feed, but they're also on our YouTube channel, The Victor Brooks Show. Wyann and Rick took their time to join me to further explain what's happening out here in the minds, psychologically, emotionally, with what's going on in the world, and specifically with our young people and our college age, high school age, middle school age, of what they're thinking, how we can work together with a message to, even once this segment of our protest is come to a median, we want to continue. That's going to be the most important, just as important rather, to continue the process of advancement, the process of education, the process of upward mobility of our young people, you know? And that's why, once again, through Wyann's efforts of Raise It Up Y, capital W, capital Y, I'm so proud and of the accomplishments that her and the others who are working with her on these many platforms that we'll talk about today. So without any further ado, I want to bring on one of our charter members of the Positivity Posse, Miss Wyann Vaughn. I don't know if she's on camera yet, but when she is, we'll say that howdy do, you know. And thank you all for joining us here. I see Angie Foster. Thank you, fam. Janice, thank you. TJ Wilkins, Kenny Anderson. Y'all check out that Second Chance Radio, y'all. Checking Second Chance Radio with Kenny Anderson. He's bringing some phenomenal episodes of converse. Oh, there she is.
Hey now.
I was just giving it up to one of our other charter Positivity Posse members, Kenny Anderson, you know?
I love it.
Thank you for coming, Wyann. You are always here to join me with this positive message for our young folk, girl. What's going on?
Man, I'm over here going through it, trying to make sure I add us to this whole thing, and I'm messing up. I'm trying to put it on my Facebook page. That's why.
You saw me at the beginning because I had to learn how to start my, I think it's called a watch party or something like that.
Yeah.
Go on, you know. But it took me there. But you know, we're here today, like I said, y'all, to make sure that we're doing our part, to keep this conversation going, you know, because it's in the hands, whether we want it, as some people in my generation or even older, you know, we've got to come to that. And I know a lot of us are, and I'm not, you know, kicking the tail of my generation or older, but I'm just putting a reminder that it's going to be up to our young people, because a lot of them out there protesting now, speaking their thing, Wyann. That's our voting age. We see our voting age of all across multicultural, you know? How does that make you feel right now?
Now that's the part that makes me excited. That's the part that makes me excited. Working with the young people with whom I work, they're between ages 18 and 25 mostly. And to see them, and I'm like, y'all can take this world whatever way y'all want to take it. I just want y'all to know that. So as seriously or as lackadaisically, you know, or lackadaisically that you want to take this, it's up to y'all. It's up to y'all. So y'all have the opportunity to make some real change here.
Come on now. You know what? You've taken me through.
I put it to them like that.
And what's the reception you get back from them? Like, what's the communication you get back from them when you give them that?
From my baby in particular, these babes are organizing protests. You know, I teach at Ujima programs, Pasadena City College, and Pasadena City College's Ujima program rather. And some of my babies are the ones organizing the protests in Pasadena.
Go ahead.
Strictly peaceful, which is why they don't get a lot of coverage, because, you know, apparently people like to, you know, show one side of the story. I'll leave it alone. But my children are doing their thug thizzle. Yeah. And they're out here making real change. Like you said, multicultural goodness. In Highland Park the other day, they had a humongous protest, and one of our friends who was kind of patrolling the event, I think he works for the police off duty when he's not doing music, funnily. He said it's 99% non-Black. I'm looking for the Black people. Everybody was white, Latino, Asian, different ages, different sexual orientations, different people out there. There's one of my favorite protester visuals right now is a white woman, look about maybe just out of her first trimester, so maybe she's about 4 months pregnant or so.
Okay.
And she said in colorful writing, almost as if to say that she was also giving a nod to the LGBTQ community. So she had a Black Lives Matter poster, but in rainbow writing. And so she said, I'm doing this for my son who goes out to get Skittles and doesn't come back. I'm doing this for my son who, and she's a white woman, by the way. I'm doing this for my son who something. And she just, basically giving nods to Mir, to Mike Brown, to Trayvon. And the last one said, I'm doing this in case anyone ever apprehends my son and he screams for me and I can't hear him. I said, girl,
come on now.
Wow. She had my heart. That white woman had my heart.
See there now, why it's so important to me to have you on, and I'm just going to reiterate to the viewers here. To me, you all, Wyann is one of the premier, I know especially here in the Southern California, LA area, that her ear is right there involved with the community that I have such a passion for, which is that age group, like I mentioned, that middle school, high school, college age. That voice, that and the angers, the frustrations, the happiness, the positivities, the hopes of this generation. And it's to me, when I have Wyann on and when she has the time to give us, y'all, because she's so busy doing her platforms out there doing it, you dig? And when you come on, Wyann, I look at it for myself, and I know with so many others, we need an education in my generation and olders, and even some of the generation now. We look at you like I mentioned, one of the ones actually on the lines doing this, to educate us on what it is that we may be missing. What is it that our young people are agreeing with us about?
Right.
And I know you're working on a number of formats. Please tell us, because I know you have the Ujima, you have, so many resilience projects. Please.
Yeah.
And who
okay. I love that. And, I call myself an edutainer, right? And an edutainer means that I'm an educator who entertains, and I'm an entertainer who educates. Okay. And I love my sister because she's like such a good producer, co-producer of yours on here. So when she throws me a lob, I try to slam dunk it every time. Yeah. However, I was gonna say the vibe of being an edutainer is being a person who recognizes that on a Monday morning, I'll be a counselor with students between 18 and 25 around at the Ujima program at Pasadena City College. The Ujima program being a subset of an overarching program that is an equitable project called the Black Academia Project. Black Academia services all Black students at Pasadena City College, all of them. I don't care where you are, what you do. If you identify as Black, we have a bunch of resources that are dedicated just to you. If you are a part of the Ujima program, a little more specified. You have to be in your first or second year college experience, very few units, because we're expecting that you're going to attain most of your knowledge with us, at least the premier knowledge base that you're getting. And you can't have already, one of my students just graduated from UCLA and tried to come back and get in the Ujima program. And we could only put him in the Black Academia Project because he has a 4-year degree now. And those types of resources that Ujima provides, very, very hands-on, lots and loads of resources. Because he already has a degree, we're like, sorry, kiddo, we have to give that opportunity to another incoming freshman or sophomore type of student, a Black student. But in our philosophy, once Ujima, always Ujima. So he's going to be down and around with the Black Student Success Center there on campus. All of that to say, when I'm around those young people, that's like the biggest age range and who I'm around. That's just one side. Black Academia and Pasadena City College's Ujima program, both being right there in the more education. Right. Raise It Up Y is where I get to host my podcast that my Ujima students helped encourage me to create. No, they didn't help. They encouraged me to create it. I just put the legs on it, sort of a thing. Okay. But their desires were what I was fulfilling in creating this platform for young learners or love learners. You don't got to be young. You just love learners, whoever you are. But right, my auntie, but the first thing, this came from student athletes, Black scholars of the Ujima program and the athletic program at Pasadena City College's Ujima program. I went to 1500 Sound Academy. That's a school that CEO of 1500 or Nothing, Lawrence Dobson, allowed me to help create with him and other creatives in order to constitute a space right there in Inglewood, California, across the street from Snoop's studio, actually. Well, his whole compound, he owns that whole block. But we're right across the street from him, and 1500 Sound Academy is the X-Men school of the next generation dope creators. It's a bunch of us, James Fauntleroy, who wrote all of the 24 karat magic in the air. That's James Fauntleroy. Lawrence Dobson himself did the ba-di-da-da, boot up, you know.
Yes.
Song of 2018. These are just their latest accomplishments. They have a whole bunch of other stuff like Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap and Rihanna. I think James Fauntleroy is the most notable writer, has the most songs with Rihanna than any other songwriter. So they have other accolades, but this particular school, though, is very near and dear to my heart because that's where I went, if I'm being completely accurate, right before we hosted Nipsey Hussle on January 4th, 2019. It was the first Friday of the year in 2019, and we had Nipsey there with us. We couldn't have known only weeks before he would make his transition and become a legacy like he is. I spoke with a bunch of the gentlemen who also helped create the school alongside us, Latino, white, Black, obviously, all these different creatives. And I said, yo, my students was crazy. These boys want me to start a platform talking about hip hop, but taking the conversation and topics in hip hop and kind of making them come home. So it doesn't just stay like dope lyrics. Like it actually, we talk about real life, like stuff with this stuff. I said, do y'all think that y'all would want to hear about these masculine and man-oriented types of things from someone like me?
Yeah.
From the Latinos to the whites to the Blacks, they was like, stupid, go do it, stupid. Like,
fantastic.
I was like, why if you don't get your ass like that? I interpreted this word stupid, but what their words was, Wyann, if you don't take your ass and hurry up and go, that was how they worded it. But the whole point being, that's what spawned Raise It Up Why. And I got the shirt on today. Raise It Up Why. Hey.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That and y'all listening, see, that's what my hope of this specific episode is to show and give an explanation and a shout out to that there are programs who are doing it. I hear in different interviews, or whether it's on television or Facebook or social media lineups, you know, because maybe you don't hear it like it needs to be heard or covered the right way. That, well, where are the people doing things in the community? Where are the people giving back to our young people? I am with all of that because it's so important. But I also want to give a platform and a voice to what Wyann and her people are doing, because this is a hands-on, answer that there are people out here doing it. You named 3 organizations just now. 3! And, I'm like, and it's also connected with the Pasadena. Some are connected with the Pasadena College here. What kind of reception are you getting back from these young people, Wyann? Like through the programs, what are they saying about it?
So at the 1500 Sound Academy, where the young creatives we're kind of like edutaining this new era of creators that's coming up, they're so hands-on about their time with Wyann that at 5 p.m., so right after we get done with this, they created a whole Zoom with about 50 of them. And they're like, no, we need a weigh-in. We need to talk. We want to know where we're thirsty for the knowledge. We got the talent. These people, oh my God, Uncle Vic, One of my babies, Maya Batra, a little Indian young lady living out here, and she's amazing. And she sent me, after she graduated from our program, a song and said, "Hey, Miss, why would you want to be a part of my song?" I'm like, "Girl, give me the damn song. What do you want me to do?" So I'm featured on one of my students' songs that she put out just at the top of this year. So it's these babies ain't. And wait, and Uncle Vic sent me the split sheets, asked for my information, because that's all the type of stuff that we teach them, how to make sure you don't get messed over in this industry. So we teaching them their rights. We're teaching them about publishing and the mountainous advantage it is to make sure that you own your publishing. And we're teaching them about how to write for placements versus how to write for yourself as an artist. They can't graduate if they don't know the scales. Like there's some very technical sides to it, but there are also some very my part of it is the emotional intelligence side. It's the do you understand who you are while you're going through this process? Because if you don't, some exec somewhere is going to tell you who you are, and the scary part is you're going to believe them, right? When you don't know who you are. I remember when Grady was on here, and Grady was talking about some of the stuff that he went through, having to learn and find himself as an artist. Find your voice. My mom talked about this on here, and she was on my last episode of my podcast, Raise It Up. Why? She was talking about how she kind of mixed some Aretha with some Wendy, who is Mavis, and some Mavis, and she was singing like them in the beginning until she kept mimicking and taking and swirling, and then she just discovered her one day. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I teach there.
That is a good point, because I want to segue into this. You're letting us know these incredible programs and involvement you're doing with our young people, Wyann. But I'm going to go on a love shout out, because I know, and those of many who are watching here know, you in your blood is artistry. You were born an artist in so many ways, right?
Absolutely.
The artistry on both sides of your family, your mom and your dad, and how it just culminated into being you. Yeah. So please give our Positivity Posse crew, give me a journey through Wyann's artistry development. What pulls you? When did you find your artistic voice and your message of artistry that you're now pushing on to these young people? You know, when did that start? Give us your journey.
The very, very first part of music I remember is being on a home family video with Wendy, where we learned that Wendy had no aim because she tried to throw a ball in the completely opposite direction of where my parents were. No discipline. But my mom was drinking me some water. How you say? She was giving me some water to drink. And at the end of it, we had a song and say, "Oh, gone. Oh, gone." You know, like it's all gone, you know, whatever. We had stuff when dad and mom would be in the car and they back up and they hit the side. We say, don't bump the curb. Don't bump the curb. So on that home video, you hear my dad say, "Look at that girl singing before she could talk." So that's my first encounter with music. Okay. The first thing I ever did in the studio, I was 2. The year was 1984, and I was rapping. What was I saying during my rap? Jesus knows. Because it went something like, "What you got to rap in the heat in, but you humming, But I was riding the beat. You couldn't tell me I wasn't. Hold on. Yeah. I was on. I was there. So like these are the earliest things that I got in my arsenal of artistry. So around 8 years old, Wendy and I had our first night in the studio because dad was like, "Y'all want to really know what it is." So, and this is a song that I wrote because I decided I was going to be a rapper at 8 after I decided I was going to be a magician. And then I turned into a musician directly after. Those are the first 2 professions I wanted, a magician. Then it turned into a musician. Me and dad had a real talk when I told him at 8 years old he had to allow me to cuss because I'm gonna start my rap career. So kind of need to be able to say damn. And dad was like, "No, just say dang." I was like, "You should write songs. Like this is good. You should do this for a living." This is what 8-year-old Wyann tells Wyann Vaughn. Right. So this is me doing my thing, and then I think my brother would just have Wayne Jr., the one in heaven, my older brother in heaven.
Right.
He would just have music around me all the freaking time, and rap music at that. Introduced me to rap music and wouldn't let me really hold down the rapper title until I learned most, if not all, of the words to the radio edit of Rapper's Delight. I said the hip hop, the hip hop, and you don't stop. So, and after that, I ended up just going into this. It's funny, I've always been a singer, Uncle Vic, a singer and a poet and everything like that. And as a singer and a poet and all of these things, I still knew that I was in hip hop. It's weird. I call myself a hip hop artist, but I'm not a rapper. I'm not. I can rap, but I'm not a rapper. I'm laughing because my homegirl Azo Safo, who is on and watching us, she's seen me since I was in, oh goodness, at least 7th grade. And so she can attest to half the things that I'm saying because she was a part of them. We were in drama classes and things like that together. And little beautiful Kalea, damn it, your uncle got me calling you Kalea. Kalea Irwin on here, and related to the also talented TJ Wilkins and his family. Yo, like this is the music that I have inside of me came from my mom and dad. Jazzier more than gospel, but with my brother's influence, turned hip hop real quick.
I got you.
Hip hop real quick. Yeah.
I much respect, eternal love and eternal respect, nephew Lil Wayne.
Absolutely.
And, but you know what? And so what I'm feeling, because not only through music, through your poetry. Now you tell us about the poetic side and all. Because the reason I'm bringing this out is because to me, it's so special and important that through your journey, Wyann, you learned and still learning, like all of us artists are. We never stop learning, our artists.
Never.
And then, but you've also paid your dues to be able to sit down and talk to these young people. Tell us that part about it.
So as my girl Azo Safo right here, she says, I remember your poetry in junior high. That's funny because I was talking about singing and her first statement was, I remember your poetry in junior high, which is true. And the next person watching happens to be my homeboy, Christopher Tyson, better known as, he's a producer named Crisis. And on the same album that my first feature on, Uncle,
yes, ma'am.
He produced, every one of my albums will have a poem featured on it. And he produced the poem that's on my album. My album is already done. We're just, getting the EPs and stuff, getting people some appetizers and stuff like that, before we give them the main course. But not only that, today is the birthday of my first product outside of getting a degree, which is my first poetry book. 13.
Come on now. There you go.
The whole idea of 13.
Go ahead, educate us on the whole 13 ideology.
Absolutely. So, people hear 13 and it generally evokes a sense of fear. There's a word for it, triskaidekaphobia, which means the phobia of the number 13. So I wanted to pick this, my photographer and editor, James, what we call him, Bananas Foster Adams. He took this picture in Oakland, California, right? So up in Oakland, very, very artist rich, but it also has some rougher sides of it and everything. And I told him, I said, I wanna put a picture for my cover that kind of doesn't invite people. Like, you have to be able to look past surfaces if you want to know what's in here. I feel like that's what's representative of my relationship with the number 13. I'm April 13 born. All of my Friday the 13th birthdays have been my favorite birthdays. I turned 30 on a Friday the 13th. Also 36. Hello. A bitch was flying too. Hold up. I just remembered that. That birthday, I was cute. Anyway. So we have all these good memories on Friday the 13th, where the country usually loses a lot of money because people are so scared. You go into a building, a skyscraper in your downtown area, it will probably be missing a 13th floor because of the superstition from this number, just a number. And what I liken that to, Uncle, is how people can succumb to their fears before looking to learn love. Okay. In general, though. Okay. I just use 13 as a placeholder. That's just like the thing right there. But from what we're seeing in common day life right now, what we're seeing in a bunch of spaces, 13 is the relationship that America has to the Black man.
Gotcha.
13 is the relationship that a lot of people have towards Black people in general. You see, you think of a doctor, because every word is a coded sense of language. You think of the word doctor and you have a picture that comes up in your head. You see maybe a white lab coat, you see an older white man, gray hair, glasses, or something of the likes. If you you say anything, you say the word father, an image appears, good or bad. So sometimes when people want to have a relationship with God and you say the word father, but they may have been abused by their father, it's more difficult for them to have that relationship because, again, language is all coded. The words evoke memories and things of that nature. So 13 is what I utilize to say, I stand for resilience. I stand for if you get knocked down 12 times, you get up 13. I stand for subscribing to love over fear. I stand for the idea being in the world of resilience. For people who may not know the word resilience, resilience is most maybe literally translated to buoyancy. If you ever see a buoy in the water, you know, where you're swimming in the ocean and you can't go out too far, they have these things called buoys. What they do is they just ride waves and they stay above water, and the waves can come and they can even go down, but they never stay down. Resilience means that you get down, but you don't stay down. They are buoyant. It's the bounce back feature to life. If at first you don't succeed, get up and try again type vibes.
Yes.
I started, and yes, Kenny Anderson, that is positivity. And the idea being, when I started this journey with 13, it became a poem. It's the 13th poem in this book. My baby cousin Chloe Warden had a birthday yesterday, and she was my artist for all my illustrations in this book.
What's her name?
And I wanted to, Chloe, the Auntie Pam's daughter.
Chloe, baby girl. Chloe.
Auntie Pam's daughter. Yes, she did all of my illustrations when
go ahead, girl.
This came out June 13, 2008. So however old we all were then.
All right.
That's the Wyann show. She did my Insta. So, but it came out as a poem first. The poem being the 13th poem called 13, I said, I'm gonna call the book 13. I used to do 13 events in Pasadena, California, where I would just invite people down. Robert Townsend's daughter, Skylar, the first time she hit a stage and did poetry was at my event. Auntie Akusuwa Bossier from The Color Purple, the one that went back to Africa, and Nettie, she hosted and brought me on at my first 13 event right there in Pasadena. And what I realized very quickly with art, and I think you already know this, Uncle, we can intend a certain thing for art, but once it's out there, people gonna take it and now it's theirs. It can take on the meaning that they wanted to take on. So there was a 13 culture that kind of came up after the poem turned book. And behind all of that, boy, it just sparked something where people were like, hey, when's your next 13 event? When's the next event? We want to come out. And people would come out and dance. They would come out and sing. They would come out and do poetry. It was just so bomb. Some of my students, everybody, I mean, people who became my students. I didn't even know them like that then, Uncle. They became my students. It's crazy. It's crazy. That was what happened, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about right there. I knew it because it's about that artistry, man. And our young, our young artists who I see you lining up on here, y'all, I'm seeing these, I'm seeing hand claps, I'm seeing you're getting that. And today's message, I'm so glad of my generation and older who are watching as well, but specifically that young artist, that 18 to college age. Hey, y'all, like Sister Wyann just gave us right now, that whole in-depth, I'm going to say re-education in a lot of ways of the mind itself on just the number of 13 and that whole restructure of positivity. Hey, y'all, young artists, your positivity does not mean that you are going to feel positive every single day. When we come on here on the Positivity Posse, y'all, we're not saying that you know, your whole 24 hours is going to be, has to be full of positive. No. Now, at 55 years old, I wake up with a negative thing. If I'm watching something, something's going to hit me negatively. It's going to get me in a negativity. So don't let nobody tell you you're wrong for feeling negative. No, we're saying find that positivity. And your artist, let me tell you something, artists.
Yes,
if
please.
you wake up in the morning and you got a negative thing as an artist, write about it. Write through your negativity. If you want to write a song through your negativity. If you want to do a poem, write a poem through your negativity. If you want to dance through your negativity. Come on, y'all feel me what I'm saying? That's all positivity. What you got?
So the second book, that's the crazy part. The second book is Write Out. Write that shit out, bro.
Second book.
Write out.
Book. Right.
Wait. No, watch this. Look at what you just said, Uncle. Watch what you just said. Hold up. Hold up 2 seconds. Watch this.
Yeah.
This is Wyann not knowing where her pages are, but don't trip. Don't trip. She's still cute.
Right.
Watch this. Hold up.
Kenny Anderson said that's the beauty of art. It's interpretation. It's in the person who experienced it. Right on, Ken.
Ken, you're hitting the nail on the head. Oslo, thank you for the beautiful illustrations. And Crisis, you know I love you. I love you, boy. But what you just said, Uncle, here's my preface of my second book.
Okay.
Write Out is different from the poetry release of 13. It serves a more specific purpose. It's actually a therapeutic tool. Others may associate it with Freud, that's your boy Sigmund Freud, free associative writing or journaling in order just to get your thoughts and feelings out. That's kind of what this book was for me. I'm a pretty logical person, so I don't typically feel things or situations until after I've sorted out my thoughts. But this book is different in that I just wrote. Certain pieces just felt like they were supposed to be here and others didn't. And I really, really, really liked them and wanted them in this book. But the actual poem Write Out of this book was written 2 or 3 times just because it felt like it needed to be written 2 or 3 times. Skipping down, Write Out is my attempt at flow and trusting the process. That's exactly what you were telling the artist to do. You just flow with it. Just do without trying. Let everything on the inside out and stop hiding from yourself in your own skin.
There you go.
We're only as free as the secrets we keep anyway. Dancers should dance out. Singers should sing out. And writers should write out. You just said those words, Uncle. You just said those words.
That's
the crazy part.
Bravo, and right on. That's it,
I can't even make it up.
No, come on.
I can't even make that up. That's so funny to me. That's so funny.
That's the page that you are on, and you've always been on. You brought up the times when you were growing up, and you know the babies and that. But ever since I've known you and your sisters and your family and brothers, I mean, come on, man. There has been a pop. You go to a Wyann Vaughn, sit down, get down. You know, there's literally, and I think y'all coined it, there's never a dull moment because the positive. If you walk, there have been times I've walked in and have felt through different things my wife and I have been going through or whatever. We walk into the, and it's like, okay, give me just a few minutes and we are there with the positivity. Y'all believe in the message of taking a bath in it, scuba diving in it, because you get up and y'all sprinkle that on, you know, so that's just smart, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
So that is the message that we want to keep giving to the world, y'all. Yeah. I know when we have the blessing of your aunt Jeanette on just last weekend.
Yeah.
The other iconic original emotion. It was weird. The phrase or the song lyric, we hold the key to the world's destiny, just kept going and going. And through that artistic expression of what also another addition to your family has given to the world, and you're continuing through your books, through your social organization, through your message, man, much respect, you know. And please, Wyann, please give us the websites before we go. I hope, and it's important to me to take this block of time so that our people watching can keep in touch with what you're doing, can go to those websites, can donate to these organizations, y'all, you know, because it takes all of us on so many ways and so many levels. Please tell us, give us that info.
All things Wyann can be found at wyannvaughn.com, WYANNVAUGHN.com, wyannvaughn.com for the books, wyannvaughn.com for the merch, wyannvaughn.com for the EP, because there is a hashtag Wyann EP out with some new tunes and music and some positive vibes for you on there. As well, by hitting the website, I can make sure I link you with Black Academia Project, PCC, Ujima program right there at PCC as well, 1500 Sound Academy right there in sunny Inglewood, or anything that has to do with Raise It Up Y, the podcast, and what we're doing. You can find us anywhere, talking about Raise It Up Y in particular. Find us on any platform at RAISEITUPWY, at Raise It Up Y. And you'll find us anywhere we go. Uncle, there was one last thing I wanted to say before I get out of here. Kind of piggybacking on what you talked about. Everybody ain't got to be that, trying to be positive all the time. And in particular, with the way that times have been lately, I know that for myself, speaking personally, there were days where I just felt like I just needed to hold on. I felt like my insides were having their own personal earthquakes. I felt like my cells couldn't find comfort in my skin, and just the say their names: George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud, and the individuals that the plethora of individuals whose names we don't know and aren't privy to, because there's only so much that we can continue to. I want everyone to know that while we're fighting the good fight, what we're experiencing with the grief and loss of these fatal and tragic, atrocious fatalities that we're experiencing in the Black community, this is trauma. I don't want people to gloss over that, because we're so resilient. We are a resilient people. I called in my thesis, I called Black Americans the phoenix that rose from the ashes of the West African family, and how certain powers that be look to try to make its demise. You know what I'm saying? But we are a phoenix. We have risen. We are resilient. You know what I'm saying? Personified. But I don't want people to take it lightly. And I want people to, if there's a day where putting on the smile doesn't feel real, doesn't feel authentic for you, that is okay. Because the beautiful part about alignment, God, if you believe that way, Allah, the Great Spirit for Native Americans, for agnostic individuals, whoever you are, whatever you believe in, the universe, the secret, Buddha, all of the Allah, anything that you believe in, there is no judgment here. You know that, Uncle Vic. You know we don't do that. That's not our vibe. We don't do the judgment vibe.
No.
But what I want to make sure everyone knows is compassion, empathy, and sympathy. Sympathy is saying, oh my God, I'm so happy that's not me. We don't really do sympathy. Sympathy is not the vibe. Empathy is taking yourself and putting yourself exactly where that other person is. And now there's two people stuck in a rut and feeling all of the feelings. And while that's a cool point of view change, so that you can see what other people are seeing and feel what other people are feeling, the thing I would hope that we learn ourselves into, ascend into, is compassion. Compassion is when we never lose our alignment to love, to positivity, to God, to Allah, to the Great Spirit, to the universe, fill in the blank. We don't lose our connection with that, and we can still look from the positioning of a different person, like empathy does, and say, you are validated. I hear you. I see you. This is atrocious. All of your reactions are valid. All of everything. I had a talk with two different Black men yesterday. One I knew very well, one I didn't know very well at all. Both of them harped on, they said, sis, he cried for his mom. That's all they said. They said, sis, he cried for his mom. He cried for his mom. I said, I know. One of the guys said, man, that shit fucked me up, bro. Like, I'm very angry. Blah, blah. I said, you have every right to be.
Right.
That is a natural.
There you go.
My dog is trained as hell. You know my dog is trained. I love that girl. She is very positive, and I only remember how good she is when I see her around other badass dogs. Let me keep it real.
Right.
So when she back there and I yell, I yell at her, but that's okay. So when I be back there yelling like crazy at her, I have to remember that she is showing me unadulterated, real-time behavioral therapy and therapy types of reactions. So my dog, as trained as she is, if I decided one day to be crazy and start abusing her physically, let's say, the same dog that I've had, my dog is 10 years old. She's a big love bug. Everybody who knows her knows she's a love bug, right? If I trained her with negative vibes, with beatings, with being harsh to her, eventually that docile, beautiful, smart, she's a German Shepherd, the third smartest dog in the breed, canine. She is beyond smart. I can turn her into whatever negativity I choose to by giving her the worst, least aligned signs of myself. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Girl.
So when I see that in human nature, when I see what we're experiencing as a people, I've been told that we as Blacks are the docile, and that's like from some old, I want to say, who was that? Not Langston Hughes. It could have been a poet. I'm not sure exactly. But some people paint us as docile and other people paint us as savage. And I'm like, well, baby, which one do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you want? Because if we so docile, you know that we sweet and we loving and we kind.
Right.
Docile means easygoing by nature. So if we're easygoing, where's the savage side? Or are we only savage when it behooves you?
Yeah.
When it behooves you to have a reason to pull the weapon and not use your non-threatening tactics to apprehend us. If you need to apprehend us, you understand? So all I want to say is, it is okay, Black man, Black woman. Hell, I had a white person tell me they almost thought about suicide because they don't want to be associated with the people who are doing these heinous things. That's not cool either.
Right.
That's not cool either. I love everybody, whatever shade, whatever ethnic background, whatever sexual orientation, religious affiliation, however much money you got, whatever continent you happen to have been placed on with divinity. I want you to know that everything you're feeling is valid. One. Let yourself feel that in your own space. Keep just with your own space. Let some of that go, whether it's writing, listen to some meditative music, give yourself a time for walk, give yourself a time to be human. And not always, even when we post on Facebook, we put, no, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it 1,000%. Even when we post on Facebook, we know we have an audience because we got followers, we got friends. Even when we tweet, so take a moment to stop performing. Take a moment to stop performing and just be as a human and let these things go through, and let divine spirit, God, and every other positive energy give you some direction, because thoughts are always trying to be downloaded to you. They always are. The question is there so much noise in your head that you can't hear divinity talking to you? It's there.
Come on.
It's there. That ain't changed. That ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? Since anybody's been around, So that's all I wanted to say. And I want to say there's love and positivity.
Come on now. Come on. Hey, I see that capital W and capital Y on your shirt. And that gives me the perfect opportunity to answer to anyone who wants to know why, whenever Wyann Vaughn has a message that she knows my platform is open to her at any time. And that's why. W-Y?
Yes.
Everything you just heard right now is why. Because it's what we need. She's one of who we need for all of us. We're all trying to make a statement, make a point, get over the hump, make a change, you dig? And it's going to take our young people. It's going to take that 18 to 30-year-old crew to pull that extra over the hill, to give that new way of, wait a minute, let's pause on that and try this, because It's not a disrespect that didn't work. We understand with the generational attempts and overcomings and huge accomplishments for equality, battling systemic racism, but also we can't forget Martin Luther King was only in his 30s. Malcolm X was also only in his 30s. I mean, we can go on and on and on, y'all. The Black Panther leaders, those brothers were younger than their 30s.
I think Tupac was 24. Tupac and Biggie were 24. Like, come on now.
Thank you. And once again, on that same page, Wyann, I love you. I respect you so much. Continue to fight, girl, and what you're doing. Continue that positive message for our young people, that voice of what they can actually do and continue to do in our social climate right now. Yeah. Y'all, she's going to be back, and
always,
and we're going to welcome her back every episode that we can because she, like you hear, she's on her mission, she's on her grind, you know. So we'll keep coordinating that. Thank you all, Positively Posse, once again for joining us today on the Victor Brooks Show Facebook Live Quarantine Series. Every Saturday and Sunday at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock, we'll be here. And, you know, take that positivity with you. Like I always say, take a bath in it, scuba dive in it, just drop off in it. When you get up off of it, sprinkle it on somebody else. That's all we're trying to do. And join us right back here. We're going to have the icon of entertainment herself, Miss Melba Moore, will be joining us in just a little bit here. Miss Melba had some technical difficulties on her side, but I just can't thank her enough for the love that she's shown, that she said, no, I'm going to do this show. And we're going to come at you today via telephone. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I love you. And Wendy Vaughn.
Yes.
Thank you so
the
much.
Bomb.
Thank you, Chris Brooks, Julie McKnight, our co-producers. We are going to come right back at you, and we'll see you soon on the Victor Brooks Show.